Just we're good.
Hey, you got me on whisper?
Yeah. Yep. You're good.
41 car field, man. Holy hell.
Woohoo!
All right, over under on the cautions. What do you think? I'm going 10.
Before we go there, let me pull up the feed on my phone and make sure that the whispers are working properly.
Copy that.
All right. I'm just testing. Test. No need to reply. Test.
I got you. I'm sorry, my wife is molesting me with her mind right now. Hey, Sean, I gotta pop out and talk to Joey real quick.
User left your channel.
Is this picking up even if I'm not?
Let's go surfing now. Everybody's wondering how. Come on and safari with me. Come on, safari with me.
Just to add to the funniness of this, Whisper's not working, so everyone can hear you.
Awesome sauce. So it's not safe to talk.
So basically, we could have a pre-race show right now with the "Thanks for tuning in, going live soon" screen up. Everyone's hearing what we're saying anyway, and they can hear the cars in the background, which I think is actually really cool for the hold. So, what were you saying about under over on cautions? Let's go ahead and throw that out there.
Well, let's not do
I say 5, and I have no problem with saying that.
I don't know if you saw, but I actually got myself a nice little top 10 last night. And that was after going 4 laps down. I spun myself out off of 2 and had some nose damage I had to fix. So I know that we're not, we're live and everything like that. As soon as they start the,
We're totally live right now. Everything that you're saying is going out over the broadcast. So
I have no other way to talk to you. So, as I was saying, go ahead and go with the live shots now. We've only got about a minute and a half to start qualifying. We'll start the show, okay?
all right, cool. We'll go ahead and bring it in. For those of you, anyone that's tuned in, we're going live. We're going to have some fun here at New Hampshire. Sim500. Transervice Cup. Woohoo!
Well, like the man said, Sean, welcome to the Sim Racing Network's presentation of the Transervice Cup Series. Tonight, the New Hampshire Motor Speedway hosts the Transervice Cup Series. It's getting down to crunch time for not only the playoffs, but the final chance to qualify for the English Auto Dragster Pass bonus segment. Next week's 8 drivers will battle over. In the next week, 8 drivers will battle over 3 events. The top 4 advancing from Bristol for the final round. Who will make the segment English Auto Dragster Pass playoff? And every Monday night, 7 o'clock, catch live coverage on SRN's Triple Threat coverage on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch channel. Search Network, like us, and give us some love there. A little love, a little tickle, and we'll get you notified whenever we go live. Right now, Nicholas Cohan leads the top of those drivers. He's locked in. Daniel Falkham's right behind him in second. Our own Mitch, the Canadian Speed Demon Rollo, is locked in at third. Navarro is 4th points right there. Nick Silver, Chad Cole, Tommy Ryan, and Dave Armstrong are the top 8 right now. Behind them, Chad Coleman, EJ O'Rourke, and Shane Ewing. Now, once again, that's going to be the English Auto Dragster Pass playoff. It brings a whole separate payout for these guys. We'll go over that later on during the show. But tonight, Sean, man, buddy, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. If you'd asked me last night, I would have told you I hate this track. It is like literally one of the most despised tracks for me in my book. But then after my top 10 run last night, I actually learned a few things, and I don't hate it so much anymore.
It's a tough track. It's a very tough track. It's tough to get a handle on it. It's tough to really figure out the line and where you want to be. And I think from what I've been hearing, these cars are more than a little bit of a handful. So it should be an interesting evening, John.
Absolutely, and I tell you, it's a 1 mile track that looks a lot like Martinsville on steroids, in my opinion. Drives like it too, to be completely honest with you. It's very flat turns. There was a time back in the day when you wanted to be on that low line down there right at the yellow line, but I don't remember when they repaved it, but when they did, the paving is that, what do you call that, graduated or whatever, 3 different types of grading or whatever, but
Yeah.
low line, right up against the yellow line now, ain't the place you want to come off turn at. If you come off too low right there, you're gonna break loose pretty bad. But we saw it last night, man. A lot of hard racing up front. It was a great race with the Xfinity Series. I look for more of the same tonight because we got practically the same package. Technically, that damn Xfinity car, Sean, is just a little harder to drive here.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying. We've got new packages all around, right? So it's coming to grips with the cars and coming to grips with the track, and I think the cool thing about that is it keeps you on your toes, man. It's like it's simulation, right? You show up, you unload, you got to figure it out.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we're doing qualifying right now, and I understand I'm getting some messages that they're having a hard time hearing me due to the sound of the cars. Give us a minute. We'll work on that, but let's get this qualifying over with real quick. We've got full field here, 41 cars on track right now. They're all qualifying. Comstock, Cole, all those guys are out there running their laps. We're going to let producer Sean here take a look at this and see what he can figure out. And we're going to take 10 seconds. We'll be right back. So we're back, and I haven't really figured out what we're going to do to fix this. I have
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I've done my end that I can. Sean's going to do a few things. We're going to keep this show going. Again, I apologize for viewers out there who are having a hard time hearing me. Then again, that might be to your benefit. Who the hell knows? So we've got about, let's see, we got 2 minutes and 7 seconds left in qualifying. Some of these guys are already done qualifying. Some of them are taking their laps. It's going to be a fun track tonight. Right now, track temperature is a blistering 118 degrees Fahrenheit. That means it's going to be a hot, slick track, Sean, and that's kind of what we had last night, and it showed about 10 laps into the run. I believe, Sean.
I'm hard at work, sir.
So, anyways, let's cover the top 10 in points real quick. Let me bring that up for you. And that's going to be the Transervice Cup Series Monday nights. It's been a pretty close battle so far. We got a couple of guys that are running away with wins, but the rest of the field is actually able to keep themselves in the standing with top fives and whatnot. So the top 10 in points right now, Daniel Falkenham leading the points. Daniel's got 6 wins on the season. He's got a 19-point lead over David Comstock back there in second. Dave's got 1 win on the season. Trey Edson's up 3 spots for third place. Trey's got 2 wins on the season, 14 points out of the lead. Adam Gilliland from Texas, he's riding right there in 4th. Justin Fuller 5th. Chad Cole 6th. Tommy Ryan 7th. Anthony DeBarro 8th. Nick Silver 9th. And Nicholas Cohan and Mitch, the Canadian Speed Demon Rollo, are tied for 10th place back there. 91 points, both of them out of the lead. And that's your top 10 in the points right now. And folks, like I said, it's been a pretty tight battle. Only 19 points right now separate second from first. Now, picture this, okay? We're at New Hampshire. We just told you it's kind of like a steroided out Martinsville. And there's bound to be some fender rubbing and some dents and stuff like that. So theoretically speaking, with a 41-car field, depending on what happens when and how bad it is, Falkingham could actually drop back to 4th or 5th in points, and any one of those guys from 4th on up end up taking over the lead after tonight's race. So we'll keep an eye on that, and if anybody has any trouble or anything like that, we'll let you know. In the meantime, qualifying is just about ready to wrap up. They got about 8 seconds left, and we've got a very, very close field. How close, you say? Well, right now, our current pole sitter, Trey Edson, 28.871. Second place, Chad Cole behind him is 28.878. That is 7/1000ths of a second. Throw a blanket over those two, and you still have room for 4 more cars. So Trey Edson's going to get the pole for tonight, 28.871. And the last guy that qualified was 29.2. That's Joey Jatina down there in 28th. So the field is done qualifying. We're going to give you a top 10 rundown momentarily. That is if producer Sean's ready. Or are you still working hard over there, Sean?
I'm working. I'm trying to figure out how to get your mic separated. It's not cooperating.
Awesome.
We're doing the best we can. So give them a rundown, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing here.
All right, I'll copy. I'll do that, and you just keep doing what you do, buddy. So our top 10 is Trey Edson in first. Outside him, the 82 car of Chad Cole. Inside row 2, Dave Comstock in the 42. To his outside, 27 car Anthony DeBarro. The 28 car comes in 5th. That's Timothy Johnson. To his outside, the 99 of Tommy Ryan. Mitch, the Canadian Speed Demon Rollo, 7th place. He had a good qualifying run there. Jose, I've got Skills Gonzalez rides 8th. Josh Parker comes in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is the 15 car of Nick Silver. Well, folks, that's going to be your top 10. The rest of the grid's going to scroll by there on the screen, I hope. I can actually see it. But we'll be going to green here shortly. And we're looking at about 150 laps of green flag racing, unless, of course, there is a green and white checkered. If I recall correctly, our fuel window is somewhere around 35 to 40 laps, I think. I can't really remember. I'd only raced one time this week myself. So I don't really know what the hell we're doing as far as gas goes. But anyway, they're about ready to grid up here and get this thing going. Edson with the pole, I think that's probably his, let's see here. He's got, I didn't say how many poles he's got in the season. I know it's not his first one. A lot of these guys are really good at qualifying. It's pretty amazing to watch them get around these tracks that I consider so hard to run. But then again, that's why they're the pros and I'm not. Now, folks, this is the Sim500 Racing Group. For those of you that are new to this and just tuning in, these guys have been around a long time. Ever since the Pappy days, really, most of these guys. Some of these guys are actual real-life racers. We've had Parker Clickerman in here with us. Mitch Rollo himself races up there, short track series. That's why I call him the Speed Demon. That guy's got something going on there. He's been doing pretty good the last few weeks. We got guys like Scott Stenzel. He races the Cup Series. Joey Jatina raced ARCA Series a few times. I believe even the Truck Series a couple times. So we've got some guys that have done some real life racing in here, and a lot of these guys have been around forever. Chitina goes way back. Dan Denier's the other one that I think of. Guys like Coleman, Gilchrist, Ben Gilchrist for a while. Good bunch of guys. If you're interested in maybe joining up or seeing what they have to offer you, jump on over to Sim500.com and check them out. They've got 4 series we run: the Cup, Trucks, Xfinity, and the Friday Night Midnight Thunder, which I believe currently is the K&N car. I think it's on a handful, but it's so much fun to drive. Well, here we go, folks. They are coming through turn 3 and 4 right now. The pace car will be ducking off. We'll be on 3 here shortly. It's out of turn 4. Wait for that pace car to duck out. There he goes. The pace car goes, and slow and so on. There's the green flag. Edson really slowed the field up much. They're playing some timing. He did a great jump out there in front of the 42 Comstock. But meanwhile, on the outside, you have the ball in that 27 car and the 82 car from Chad Cole. They're trying to make something happen on that high line. The last time we saw the high line really moving good, especially on the restarts. The only time the inside works is on the restarts. You have these fresh tires, these fresh up as hell. Get you a few spots while you can, but pretty soon it's going to fade out, and you really want to be mid to high on these corners right here. So flat, there's really no way to maintain a whole lot of momentum through there. But look at that, Edson broke the slip out there to about a 4-car lead. Behind him, you've got the 82 car of Chad Cole, who had a really good start to run there. The bar, the 27 car behind him in third. Your Comstock in fourth. But look at the battle we've got going on for 5th place right now, 2x2. You've got Tommy Ryan there in the 99. You've got Timothy Johnson. Jose, I've got skills because
Well, folks, here's what we have right now. John Mustian, our lead announcer tonight, seems to have been a victim of the blue screen of death. I'm going to blame Bill Gates for that, and we're going to keep on digging here at New Hampshire. We've got Anthony DeBarro way out front right now. Anthony seems to be running away in this first, I guess we'll call it the first stage, first green flag run, basically, of the evening. Anthony in that 27 car, 1.3 seconds ahead of Trey Edson right now. Chad Cole running in third place. David Comstock in fourth. Jose Gonzalez in fifth. Mitch Rollo sixth. Josh Parker seventh. Nick Silver running that 8th spot. Justin Fuller inside the top 10 in ninth. And Nick Cohen, I keep wanting to say Nicholas because that's what's on the screen, but Nick Cohen rounding out the top 10. Again, I guess the story so far everybody seems to have settled down, and everybody is basically running single file, behaving, if you'd like to call it that. Sort of calm down, trying to get some green flag running done. 20 laps into this 150 lap event, and as far back as I can see on the track right now, it is single file. One big snake running around here in these cars. This evening, Chevys, Fords, looking good out there. I'm on board. Well, not on board, but I've got the camera trained on Trey Edson right now in that number 40 car, that Transervice car. They are our series sponsor for our Monday night racing here at Sim500. Great to have them on board as always. Trey Edson's got that number 40 looking good. Looked like there was a back marker possibly. Yep, that is Jose Gonzalez. No. That's not Jose Gonzalez. Who is that in the Tabasco car? The 13 car, I believe, is what that was. Dwayne Vincent, actually, in the Tabasco car, having a little bit of problems out here at New Hampshire. Looks like he's got it gathered back under him, and he's back underway, back into that car, quite damaged. Dwayne's back in the 30th spot right now, right in the middle of everyone. And luckily, nothing got crazy ugly. No yellow flag, no harm, no foul. Gathered it up, keeps on digging. Go back up front with Anthony DeBarro. DeBarro now 1.4 seconds ahead of the field. Not really running away from everyone else. Trey Edson still sitting second. Chad Cole sitting third. Not running away, but no one's really running him down either. He's picking up about a half a tenth to a tenth a lap on the field. And, dominant performance in the first quarter of this race. I'm going to go back through the field a little bit, try to find y'all a battle or two to talk about. Here we go. Finally finding a pack of cars with Jose Gonzalez running that the Pepsi paint job tonight. Throwback of all throwbacks. Caution on track, no idea where it was. Wish I could find it, but I'm not going to go looking for it. I'm actually going to stick with where we're at and give y'all a field rundown one more time here. Go back up to the front of the field. Anthony DeBarro, the first 24 laps of this race, Anthony DeBarro putting on a clinic at New Hampshire in the Coors Light machine, running 1.5 seconds up on the field when that caution came out, showing him a little further up than that right now, but we all know that is just the caution. He's about ready to file in behind Doug in our Mustang pace car, and that field will bunch back up. We were getting to, I believe, the fuel runs tonight. What John was saying before his blue screen of death, the fuel runs are a little over 30 laps here at New Hampshire is what we've been told, so wouldn't be surprised if we saw some folks peel off, go in a little early, get a little out of sync with the rest of the field, and see if they can make that short pit work for them in the long run. We'll see as the field gathers up behind that Mustang pace car if anyone goes to peel in. And it looks like DeBarro leading the field down pit lane. He's followed by everyone. Everyone going down pit lane right now. I'm going to switch cameras here, see if we can get you a better angle of what's going on in the pits. DeBarro, Edson, Chad Cole, Comstock, basically everyone in the top 20 just pulled down in the pits. So let's see here. There we go. That gives you a better idea of what's going on in the pits. We'll go to the pit road cam for a second, take a look at DeBarro's pit stop. He's up, getting left sides. and he is away. He's the first car off. It looks like Jose Gonzalez got a really, really good jump off pit road. And let's see here. We're on there with DeBarro. Gonzalez picked up a couple spots there. He's going to be scored in second the next time when they come back around and the field sorts out. I know that we had some folks stay out. Brian Wortman looks like he stayed out. And he might be, him and Trey Edson, I believe, are going to be scored 1-2, but they may pull into the pits this time around. So we'll have to see what happens there. We are under caution here at New Hampshire in the Sim500 Esports Racing League, brought to you on Monday nights by Transervice. I'm going to take a little break real quick. We'll be back on the other side of this with some green flag action. Working lap 27 of 150 at New Hampshire.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
And welcome back. We're here at New Hampshire. Looks like the lights are out on top of the pace car. I've got that camera locked on Trey Edson and Anthony DeBarro right now. We're about to go back to green flag racing. Working lap 28 of 150 tonight. I'll give you a quick rundown while we go back to green. Trey Edson leading them at the green flag. Trey Edson takes off. Anthony DeBarro slots into second. Right behind them, Jose Gonzalez running third in that Pepsi machine. It's going to be weird getting used to Jose Gonzalez running Pepsi. I'm used to seeing Tide. He's switching it up, trying to get me confused. Chad Cole running fourth. Mitch Rollo up to fifth. Let's see here. David Comstock, sixth place in the sixth position. Nick Silver in seventh. Justin Fuller up to eighth. Tommy Ryan cracks the top 10, running in ninth right now. And Josh Parker looks to have just put it in the 10th spot. I'm going to go back through the field a little bit. We're side by side up front. Anthony DeBarro, Trey Edson duking it out. Trey Edson on that high line, DeBarro down low. Those guys always put on one heck of a show here at Sim500. Great to see them up front, as they typically are. Jose Gonzalez running third right now. He is actually up front a lot earlier than we normally see Jose in this series. Good to see him running up front. Really cool to see that retro paint job. My father was a Pepsi freak, and therefore I am a Pepsi freak. So kind of cool to see that car on track. It's taking me back a little ways. I'm going to go back through the field. Got the camera trained on Mitch Rollo right now. Checking out that 96 Sim Speed Shop car. He's in a pack right now. Right behind him, the number 15 of Nick Silver. That's always a good-looking car. That Motorcraft paint job on that Mustang looks really, really good. Go back to David Comstock. We got to go back to 7th place to find Comstock right now in that 42 machine. That is not really normal. Comstock's normally running up front. He's always up front with that car, it seems. I'm sure we'll see him march to the front as the event progresses. 32 laps in of this 150-lap race at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Don't forget to check out our sponsor for this series. That is Transervice. You can find them online. You can find them at Transervice. I believe it's transervice.com. You can definitely find them on Facebook. They're all over the place. check them out. And I am going to go back to the front, see what's going on with Trey Edson and that Edson-DeBarro battle. Edson still on the outside, DeBarro looking low, trying to find a little bit of speed down low. Not going to happen here at New Hampshire right now. He ducks down, gets a nose out front, but Edson's going to have that momentum coming off the high line, and Edson's going to drag him down the front stretch, and he's still being scored in the top spot. 0.083 seconds separating DeBarro and Edson. DeBarro all of a sudden back to the front as far as our timing and scoring goes, but that's short-lived as Edson has that momentum on the high line. Jose Gonzalez back there in the 26 Pepsi Chevy looking for a way around DeBarro. Not happening just yet. Right behind him, we have Chad Cole. Chad Cole running fourth in that number 82 machine. Chad Cole running Transervice on the hood of that car as well, looking good up there inside the top 5. Give you a little different perspective on this. There we go, down the backstretch, the full field coming down the backstretch. Everybody seems to be playing pretty nice here right now. I like what I'm seeing. Yes, we did have a caution. No, I don't know where that caution was, and I apologize for that. But I'm a one-man show right now. I'm working cameras, overlays, trying to keep y'all up to speed on what's going on. It's a little busy here right now at Nemesis Labs. So let's see here. I'll give you a field rundown real quick. Trey Edson running up front in that 40 machine, followed closely by Anthony DeBarro. Looking low again. DeBarro just can't seem to find enough momentum to get it done. Jose Gonzalez still running third in that Pepsi machine. Chad Cole in fourth place. Let's see, Mitch Rollo, 5th place. Nick Silver running 6th. David Comstock, 7th. Josh Parker in the 8th position. Justin Fuller running 9th. And Nick Cohen rounding out the top 10. We are seeing a little bit deeper into this run. We're about, 7 laps or so, maybe 6 laps back to green. A lot of folks out there with fresh fuel and new tires. And it seems like folks 37 laps into this thing are getting a little racy right now. We're going away from that single file, getting a little bit side by side, which adds a little bit to the excitement. I tell you what, the battle up front, though, is tough to take the camera away from because DeBarro and Edson, as they so often do, are just going at it right now. It's impressive to watch these guys do what they do. I know these cars. I've heard them all talking about them for the last several weeks. They're a handful. You know, you really have to get up on the wheel and hunker down, and just right behind that battle for the lead, we just saw Jose Gonzalez brush the wall a little bit. That speaks to exactly what I'm talking about right now. These things are loose, they're monsters, they're heavy, there's not a lot of tire underneath them, and they're having to wheel them, man, and it's fun to watch them do what they do here at Sim500. It sort of sucked me into the show, and I'm really glad to be here. It's definitely a lot of fun to watch these guys. I'm getting Windows notifications during a broadcast. How cool is that? All right, Trey Edson still leading the way. Anthony DeBarro right behind him. I'm going to go back through the field a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Right behind Jose Gonzalez, Chad Cole with that number 82 machine, looking good, running fourth. Evidently Joey Jacina. I just got a message from John Mustian. His computer has blue screened, and evidently it has nuked itself. I believe I may be joined up here in the booth momentarily, but with Joey Jacina. Joey, if you're around, man, feel free. Jump on the mic. Spot me. Help me out. I appreciate it greatly.
How do I do that? What do I do?
You basically just talk. Unfortunately, the mix is a little bit off tonight, and that's my fault. I'll take full blame. You're talking over the car volume, but we're here at we're at caution here at New Hampshire. So if you want to chime in and let the folks know, A, why you're out, B, how these cars are handling, and C, get back up to the front of the field, and we'll give it a rundown here in a second. But let us know what it was like to be out there at New Hampshire tonight and why you're out so early.
Well, hey, we're live. I didn't know that, so I apologize. No, that was just a mistake on my part. Just downshifted on accident and blew the motor and going into turn 3. It's one of those stupid things that happens, and here we are.
No, it happens, man. It happens. I mean, everybody makes a mistake. The best of them do it. You know, you're quick. You've been doing this more than a year or two. Mistakes happen. What are you going to do? You know, it is what it is. But I need some help, so it's good that you're here. I appreciate you being here.
Well, what better way to come in here and hang out and talk some racing with you? And yeah, I mean, obviously, I think better than just I am driving here today. So I guess I'll just pull the old chair back, turn the wheel off, and watch some racing.
I'm trying to get us a little bit away from the track right now while we're under caution here so folks can hear you a little bit better, Joey. Up at the front right now, we've had that Anthony DeBarro, Trey Edson battle 1-2, as we so often see here on the Monday night Transervice series. And it looks like a few folks have chosen to stay out. We've got Jason Barham is still being shown out on the track in the lead right now. Don't know why you wouldn't come in and get those tires right now. If you can shed a little light on why someone would stay out at this stage of the race, please do.
Yeah, I don't think if this is crew chief, he needs to yell at him, get off the racetrack. Because out here, you're talking a while ago about how the car is handling. It's slippery, to say the least, off the corner. You're dead in the middle, and then you're trying to power off the corner, and the cars are just all over the place. I was going back and looking at the incident that would put us under caution, and basically Adam Gilliland, who has been him and Daniel Falkingham dominating the Transervice Cup Series, coming off turn 2, just ran out of room. Sean Casto was there. They made contact, and both on the inside wall. Maybe not so bad on the Gilliland machine. Casto looks like he took most of the damage, so we'll see. Somebody as good as Gilliland, that's not going to slow him down.
Nope, not at all, not at all. Thank you for going back and finding that, because trying to push the buttons and do everything that I'm doing right now, I couldn't go back and continue commentating and find that at the same time. So I appreciate the update on that, Joey.
Hey, not a problem. If I know anything, I know caution.
You've caused one or two in your life?
Well, one enough tonight. It's so embarrassing, but live another day, right?
Hey, we all live to fight another day. That's not a bad thing.
Well, I just wish I had the hour and a half back. Well, it's good. Clearly did decide to pit. So we're back to Trey Edson at the lead here with Justin Fuller beside him. We'll see what happens as they come to the restart here.
It's going to get crazy. Green flag. I'm going back to the TV1 cam. Get y'all back at the front of the field. Trey Edson takes off like a rocket. Trey Edson's going to lead this lap. DeBarro slots in right behind him. Justin Fuller running third. That 51 car came out of nowhere after that caution. Justin was running back in 8th, 9th spot pretty consistently. He hadn't been up in the top 5 all night. All of a sudden, Justin's running third. And caution is back out on the speedway here at New Hampshire. That didn't take long.
I'm looking at it right now. You know, don't even know where it's at. Actually, I thought it was a 23. I heard Josh Parker say something.
Nope, no idea where it's at. There's too much going on for me to try to find that and actually stay up with everything else that I've got to push and move around. So we'll give you a quick field rundown right now. We're back under caution at 46 laps into this 150-lap event in the Sim500 Esports Racing League. We're here at the Transervice Cup Series on Monday nights. Trey Edson leading this thing right now in that number 40. How appropriate is this? Transervice car. Looking all good in the black and yellow, man. That is a very, very good-looking car. Anthony DeBarro still running second. Justin Fuller, third place. Jose Gonzalez putting that Pepsi machine up inside the top 5 consistently this evening. Running fourth right now is Jose in that 26 machine. Mitch Rollo running in the top 5 with a 5th place run right now. Chad Cole running 6th. David Comstock in the 7th position. Nick Silver running 8th. Daniel Falkingham running 9th. And Nick Cohen rounding out the top 10. Now that I've said that, I'm going to go to a quick break. We're going to run a couple commercials. I'm going to grab some water real quick because I feel like I'm going to be talking a lot for the next 100 laps, and things are going to get more interesting as we go. Thanks for joining us tonight with the Sim500 Esports Racing League. You're watching the Transervice Cup live from New Hampshire on the Sim Racing Network.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back, folks. We are still under caution here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, 49 laps into this 150-lap event. Camera focused on Trey Edson right now in that Transervice machine, that number 40 Chevy looking good, as Camaros do right behind him. Anthony DeBarro in that number 27 Coors Light Camry, and then right behind him, rounding out the top 3, Justin Fuller in the 51 Nemesis Lab car. I'm kind of partial to that one. I'm not going to talk about it too much. Don't want to be all nepotistic. I don't know whether that's even a word. I'm going to stop talking about him, though, and wish him the best. Let's see here. Running 4th right now, Jose Gonzalez in the Pepsi machine. Mitch Rollo running 5th. Chad Cole 6th. David Comstock 7th. Lights are out on the pace car, and we are about to go green 50 laps into this 150-lap event here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway with the Sim500 Esports Racing League in the Transervice Cup Series.
Sean, I don't know if they can hear me. Can you hear me okay?
Joey, we can hear you, man, but the mix has got you jumbled in with the cars, with the engines, and with the cameras that I'm using, man. It's really tough to hear you. Feel free to fire away whenever you can. Hopefully, folks can hear you. But man, I'm going to talk my head off for the rest of this thing if as long as my voice holds out. And we are green at New Hampshire. Just like has happened for the last couple restarts, Trey Edson takes off like a rocket down low. Trey's going to lead this lap, but DeBarro's got the momentum on the high side now, and Edson slots in behind him in 2nd. Justin Fuller running 3rd. Jose Gonzalez running 4th in the Pepsi machine. Right behind him, Mitch Rollo running in 5th in the 96. Looked like Justin Fuller just got loose there and sort of shot up the track, gathered it up, though. Doesn't look like he's really even going to lose a spot. Fuller still running 4th. Going to get back up front with Anthony DeBarro and Trey Edson here. I am going to put the camera on DeBarro, and then I'm going to crack open a water so I can continue to talk.
I screwed that all up.
And here we go again with DeBarro starting to gap the field a little bit. Looks like DeBarro at will can just sort of turn on the afterburner and run away a little bit. That Coors Light car already 0.7 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Trey Edson trying to figure out what in the world Anthony DeBarro was doing in that 27 to run away the way he is. Really impressive run. And most of these guys brand new tires right now, so they should be hooked up and hauling butt, but DeBarro is hauling more butt than the rest of the field right now. That's the way it goes up front. Jose Gonzalez still running third, right behind him Mitch Rollo running fourth, Justin Fuller running fifth, Chad Cole sixth, Daniel Falkingham back in eighth place in that number 39 car, right in front of him Nick Silver in the Motorcraft Mustang, that number 15 car. I'm going to go back to 10th, look for Comstock running in that 42 car, running in 10th position right now. Nick Cohen right in front of him, running in the 9th spot. Ben Kilcrease running in that 00, up into the 11th position for Ben right now. I love that Ben has me all over the car. It's just him out there. It's just him and the car. And I'm so Ricky Bobby-ing right now. I got to stop. Right behind Kilcrease, Kevin DeBrown running that NOS Energy Drinks car, that number 93 car, right up on the bumper of the me-sponsored machine of Kilcrease. Going to go back a little further. Nigel Standish came out of nowhere last week. Did Standish in that 09 Toyota Camry. Let's see if Standish can run it back up inside the top 5 tonight. It's an amazing race he had last week. Scott Stencil in the 24, right now running the 14th spot. Scott Simley running the 15th position in the number 12 machine. Steve Ritter running in 16th. Sean Boundy running in 17th. Randy Yoakum in 18th. Doug Roth in 19th. And I'm going to stop at the 20th position here. Oh, we got a little side-by-side there between the 23 and the 43. Josh Parker and Doug Roth dueling it out, battling it out for 19th and 20th spot right now. I think Doug, let's see here, Doug has or had the 19th position, and Josh wants it in a bad way. I'm going to go back up front. Before I go back up front, though, digging the STP. Loving the STP paint job. I had the camera at the right place at the right time. Those guys were going at it, bringing out the caution here. Let's see, lap 59 of 150. Don't really know who that was or why. Let's see here. Let's see if I can go back to an instant replay. I'm in the right place at the right time with the camera. Doug Roth and, let's see here, Doug Roth and the 23 car, Josh Parker. They get together. You know, I'm not going to make a call. I'm just going to say that was hard racing. And they got together and went around. A little early in the race to be doing that, but, you know, it is what it is. And we'll see how those guys gather it up and get back to it once we go back to green. We are under caution here again at New Hampshire in the Sim500 Transervice Cup Series, brought to you by Transervice. Anthony DeBarro still out front, slotted in behind that Mustang pace car. Looks like DeBarro is going to bring it down pit lane, followed by Edson. We've got Edson, Gonzalez, Mitch Rollo, Justin Fuller. It looks like the whole group is going to go ahead and have a little bit of a pit party here. Let's go to our pit lane camera. Let's see if we can get the pit lane cameraman queued up here. See what's going on pit lane. The whole world is in the pits right now. DeBarro came in leading. Don't know who stayed out, who didn't. If we bring anything over from last week, we'll know that Standish may stay out and lead a little bit of this thing right now. Standish still on the racetrack. Brian Wertman being scored in second right now. Doug Roth in that 43 car hasn't come down pit road yet. I'm sure he'll have to come down pit road. There has to be a little damage on that 43 STP machine. Let's see here. Let's go take a look. Yeah, Doug's hurt. Doug's bent up a little bit. Let's go back to TV2. Back to TV2, looking at that 43 car. It's a bit stoved in the left front. the left rear, I'm not sure whether there's a straight panel on that car, and it still looks good. Nothing wrong with the STP paint job. All right, back up front here at New Hampshire, Nigel Standish in the 09 Toyota, slotted in behind the Mustang. Pace car with its lights on, but we've got a Toyota in first here at New Hampshire. 62 laps of 150. Done and dusted in the Sim500 Esports Racing League. Not sure whether he's going to pull off or stay out. We'll see what happens. I'm going to flash our sponsor up on the screen one more time just because we really appreciate what these folks do. All the sponsors that we have here at Sim500, greatly appreciated. Without them, we could not do what we do week in, week out, 3 times a week, 3 amazing series at Sim500, and they're all brought to you on the Sim Racing Network. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, following along. Greatly appreciates when you guys hop into and watch these live broadcasts. I know the racers watch them after the race is over just to check out what was going on, how things went down. Always great to see who's watching and when they're watching. So thank you very much for following along with us. We greatly appreciate that. Lights are out on top of that pace car. We're about to go green. Nigel Standish running on some old tires. Right behind him, DeBarro, Edson, Jose Gonzalez, Justin Fuller. Basically everyone has come into the pits except for Nigel. Don't know whether this is a good move or a bad move. It's going to get him off sync with the rest of the field, basically, as far as pit stops go. And that could help him towards the end of the race. Might hurt him. Just kind of depends on how yellows fall for the rest of the race. We'll have to see how that plays out. Definitely going to be fun to watch. It worked out for him last week. Let's see if it works out for him this week. We're about to go green here at New Hampshire. Well, if that's any indication, it looks like old tires were fine on a restart as far as the initial takeoff, but then right after they got up to speed, it's Anthony DeBarro that basically shows Nigel that he maybe should have come into the pits and got those new tires. Standish all the way out to the wall. He's 3 wide to the outside as DeBarro now shows the way. Standish is just falling back in a hurry. That was a gamble that did not pay off, I don't think, in any way, shape, or form. And we're back to the DeBarro-Edson show. 1-2, DeBarro out front, Edson running second. DeBarro already 1 lap into this green flag run. And there in the back, we just saw Ben Kilcrease get way out of shape and gather it up in the me-sponsored machine. Back to the front, though, DeBarro leading Edson and already almost half a second up on Trey. As soon as I say that, though, we go back to caution on the speedway. We say it all the time. They say it on TV. We say it here. They say it in the real world. We'll say it for the sim. Cautions breed cautions. And that is what we're seeing right now at New Hampshire. Had a little bet with John Mustian before we started this thing that we were going to see 5 cautions tonight at New Hampshire. Maybe more than that. Maybe a little more than that. It's a tricky track, and these cars are a handful to drive. So back under caution, pretty much the entire field looks like the 24 car out there by the wall just sitting there. So it was definitely the 24 car of Scott Stencil involved in that. Don't know whether Scott is a single car incident or whether he is a multi-car incident, because I am here running the producing and doing the commentating all at the same time, and I just, quite honestly, y'all, don't have the dexterity to scroll through the field, talk, change cameras. I can't get that last little piece of the puzzle done, and I apologize for that greatly. But I'm going to do the best I can with what I've got and give you the best broadcast that we possibly can here tonight. Lap 67 of 150 is what we're on right now. We're seeing a couple cars get that wave around, going on around the pace car. Doug doing his usual thing. Doug's like a metronome in that Mustang. Keeps it right in the center of the track in the pace car. Steady speed the whole time. The man, it's like he's a machine. He's unbelievable. Right behind Doug in that Mustang, Anthony DeBarro leading the way. Little damage, it looks like, at least on my machine. From my cameras, I'm seeing a little damage on that 27 car. Looks like there may have been a little beating and banging going on. Looks like that rear bumper has gotten a couple taps, and more than likely those taps came from Trey Edson, sitting in the second spot right now on that number 40 Transervice machine. Those guys have been going at it all night long. Jose Gonzalez having a really, really strong run tonight in the Pepsi machine, not running his normal Tide paint job. Evidently, Pepsi's got him caffeined up and running well, so it's cool to see Jose running up front here like he is, running third right now. And normally Jose, if he's going to march to the front, it's later in a race. It's after the halfway mark that we normally see Jose make a charge. But tonight, he's been running up front all night long. Right behind him in the fourth spot, Justin Fuller in the 51 Chevy Nemesis Lab car. Right behind him, Chad Cole in the number 82 Transervice sponsored machine. Transervice right now sponsoring the series. 2 cars inside the top 5. Not a bad evening for Transervice. And again, thank you so much for that sponsorship of the series. We greatly appreciate that. Lights are still on top of the pace car. While those lights are on, I'm going to take a quick break, run one commercial, and be back with more live from New Hampshire at the Sim500 Esports Racing League. We are here with the Transervice Cup on Monday nights, and you are watching the Sim Racing Network. Welcome back to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We came back just in time. Green flag flew as soon as we came back on camera. Just in time to see Anthony DeBarro take off in the lead of this 150-lap race here tonight at New Hampshire. Anthony DeBarro leading out to a quick 0.2 plus second lead over Trey Edson in that number 40 car. Jose Gonzalez now looking low, trying to take over that second spot from Trey Edson. I think this would be the first time this evening that we saw Gonzalez up to that second place spot, and we haven't talked about him a whole lot tonight, but all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, after that last caution, David Comstock inside the top 10. Comstock running in that fourth spot. Right behind him, Nick Silver is running in fifth. Daniel Falkingham up to sixth. Justin Fuller back to seventh. Chad Cole running eighth. Kevin DeBrown running ninth. Nick Cohen rounding out your top 10. Anthony DeBarro, though, he's the story of the evening so far. DeBarro, as soon as the green flag waves after these cautions, he puts the hammer down and just takes off from the rest of the field. Really impressive run for DeBarro so far. 0.7 seconds out. We're only 2 laps into a green flag run. 72 laps of 150 complete tonight. I can't get over watching DeBarro do what he does on these green flags, on these restarts. He just puts the hammer down and he is gone. I know Edson has to be sitting there going, what in the world is going on? What's different? What's he doing that I can mimic? But no one can seem to hang with him DeBarro when it comes to these restarts. We've got Comstock up to third now. Comstock gets in front of Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a couple laps ago, fighting for second. Now Gonzalez fighting to hold on to fourth. Nick Silver right behind him in that Motorcraft car, that Motorcraft Mustang, looking to put Jose back in another spot. Daniel Falkingham up inside the top 10. Daniel Falkingham running sixth right now, looking underneath Nick Silver. Looks like he's going to get the job done on that low line. Or will he? Nope, I spoke too soon. Nick Silver keeps it up high, keeps the momentum, and keeps that position for the time being. Falkingham, though, really pressing the issue down low, trying to make something happen. This is it's just come to be expected by me. I'm still the new guy here at Sim500 as far as the commentating side of things, but it's expected to see this type of racing throughout these events. Love watching these races. Love the opportunity to actually get on a mic and commentate on these things. It is absolutely amazing to watch what these guys do on a weekend, day in, day out basis. They put on one heck of a show, and I know you guys love watching it. I know these guys love doing what they do out here on the racetrack. We're 76 laps out of 150 at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway with the Sim500 Esports Racing League. I mean, just look at that. It's DeBarro is already almost a second out on the rest of the field. Trey Edson running second, David Comstock third, Jose Gonzalez fourth, Nick Silver rounding out the top five. But the story of the event right now has to be DeBarro. I'm going to go back to Trey Edson and go on board, go inside the cockpit with Edson for a second, just so you can get an idea of what Edson is looking at out his window. And that's what Edson has to deal with right now. Edson is basically looking down that track just wondering how in the world DeBarro is doing what he's doing, how in the world he is getting the jump that he's getting on these green flags and then making it stick. Really impressive run by Anthony DeBarro tonight. Coors Light, if you're watching, they have to be proud. They definitely have to be proud of what's going on. I'm going to shut up for a minute, let you guys listen to these machines, stay on board with Trey Edson here for a lap or two, and just crank it up here for a minute and let you listen to what iRacing has done with the sounds of these awesome machines. All right, folks. Pace car peeling off here at New Hampshire. We're about to go green again. DeBarro and Edson on that front road. DeBarro getting a massive jump like we have seen him do so many times tonight. But this time, we have a little bit of a, I guess, a joker in the mix here. We've got Comstock running third. David Comstock looking low with that 42 machine, trying to get underneath Edson, but can't get it done, and Edson maintains the second spot. We'll see whether DeBarro can do what he's done earlier tonight on all of the green flag, all of the restarts. DeBarro seems to have a machine that no one can really contend with in a restart situation, and it's happening again. DeBarro already 2/10 out on Edson. Edson leading Comstock. Comstock running third. Jose Gonzalez running fourth, rounding out the top five. Daniel Falkingham looking low on Gonzalez right now. Let's see here. I'm going to get back to them real quick so we can watch this fight. That is about the best battle we've got inside the top 10 right now. Falkingham, Gonzalez, and Justin Fuller in the 51 car. 3 cars nose to tail. Falkingham down low, Gonzalez up high, and Fuller just kind of sitting there waiting for them to make a mistake, hopefully, is what he's thinking. Right behind him, we've got 3 cars that are nose astern, and then we get a little further back in the pack, and things get a little crazier. I'm going to see if I can find that. Going back to the number 21 car of Nick Cohen, that's when things get a little more dicey. We've got a lot of side-by-side action going on back here from about 10th place. Chad Cole running 10th. Mitch Rollo in the mix. Kevin DeBrown in that mix. Tommy Ryan in there. Let's see here. Tommy Ryan, Nigel Standish back in 15th. We saw him gamble early, try to stay out on old tires as soon as the green flag fell. Oh, no, we've got the 23 car going around on his own is what it looked like. The 23 car here. Let's find him. He's falling quick. 23 car of Josh Parker. We're going to hit the instant replay and see whether we can't see that. The 23 car, don't know whether that was a little bit of net code or if that was actually Josh Parker just getting it wrong on his own. Caution back out on the track here at New Hampshire. Parker gets up high, and I think that may have been a little net code tap from the 21 car there. I could be wrong. I have been wrong at least once or twice before. Another car or two caught up in that mess, but we are back under caution here at New Hampshire in the Transervice Cup Monday Night League of the Sim500 Esports Racing Series. Josh Parker gathering it up here, and I would assume he's going to take that thing straight down pit road, which is what he does. Going back live now, Sean Casto being scored up front right now. Casto in that 27 bright yellow machine. I'm sorry. Sean Casto is in the 52 bright yellow machine. He is no longer scored up front. Everything's cycling back around for this yellow flag. DeBarro still being scored out front. Trey Edson right behind him in second. Comstock running third in that 42 machine. Daniel Falkingham running fourth. Running in 5th place, Justin Fuller. 6th place, Jose Gonzalez representing Pepsi well here tonight. Chad Cole running 7th in the 82 machine. Mitch Rollo running 8th place in the 96. Kevin DeBrown running 9th place. And rounding out the top 10, Nelson Rivera. We're going to go back to Nelson's car because we haven't seen him inside the top 10 all night long. The 22 Verizon car looking good as always here at New Hampshire. We are under caution just about to the 2/3 complete portion of this event. 93, working 93 of 150 laps here at New Hampshire in the Sim500 Esports Racing League Transervice Cup Series. We bring this to you every Monday night on the Sim Racing Network. You can find us on 3 different services. That's 3 different places to find this stream. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at the Sim Racing Network on all of them. while we're under caution, go back up front, get you on Anthony DeBarro, give him a little more camera time, like he needs more. He's gotten all the camera time tonight, but we want to remind you this race is brought to you by Transervice. We really appreciate them coming on board and helping us out with the Monday Night Series. We greatly appreciate their sponsorship. Couldn't do what we do without them. And the lights are still on. Doug piloting that Mustang around here. When we go back green, we're going to have a little over 50 to go. And I'm hoping we can get settled down and actually get a really long green flag run. It would be really nice to see one round of green flag pit stops here. I think the pit window, from what I remember, is a little outside of 30 laps. So we have enough time here to where if we can get everybody settled down and playing well in the same sandbox, no fights, we might be able to see at least one round of green flag pit stops that mix things up pretty well, typically here at Sim500. Let's see here. Lights are out on top of the pace car. We are about to go green. I think that was at the 35 car heading off pit lane. Yep, that was Brian Wertman in the 35 car heading off pit lane trying to beat Doug in that pace car and the rest of the field back out so he does not go another lap down. It looks like he got the job done there. Everybody getting them lined back up, side by side, 2 by 2, going down the backstretch. We're about to go green at New Hampshire. We are green. The green flag waves. DeBarro does it again. Don't really understand how he's doing that, but it seems that his car has another 20 horsepower on the rest of the field. Every time we have a restart, DeBarro just puts the hammer down and gaps Trey Edson like he is standing still here in the first green flag lap after a restart. DeBarro out by 0.25, 0.3, already 0.3 seconds ahead of Trey Edson. Just incredible jumps from that number 27 machine on the restart. Daniel Falkingham back and forth. David Comstock right in front of him. Actually, let's go to those two guys right now. Falkingham and Comstock are doing battle right now. They are side by side inside the top 5. Definitely want to shed some light on that. That's good racing. Oh no, Comstock way loose in the 42 car. Comstock's going to lose another spot. Fuller's going to get by him. As a result of that, that was all on him. The 42 car just tried to get out from David Comstock there. Fuller took advantage of it, and Falkingham is set sail. Falkingham is gone right now. That is no longer a Falkingham-Comstock battle. That is now a Comstock, Justin Fuller, Jose Gonzalez battle. And it looks like Mitch Rollo running 7th right now, but Mitch is trying to show that front bumper to the bottom side of the track, get underneath Comstock there in the 42. Rollo couldn't make it happen, but he tried. Get you the rest of the field back up here so you can keep up with whoever your favorite driver is. We've got this leaderboard scrolling for you guys all night long. Top 10, as always, on the left side of the screen. You can keep an eye on who is where and what's going on, and I'm going to do my best to do the same. Let's go back out front here. DeBarro, 0.3 seconds down the road from Trey Edson right now as we are working lap 100 of 150 here at New Hampshire in the Sim500 Esports Racing League. Working lap 102 of 150. DeBarro still out front, not quite pulling away on Trey Edson like he has on the other restarts this evening. Don't know what the cause of that is. Don't know whether Trey was just letting him go earlier and now he's not quite letting him go the same way. But as I say that, DeBarro finds another 10th and puts it 0.5 seconds ahead of Trey Edson. As soon as I say that, DeBarro slides up the track. Edson closes that gap by about a tenth and a half. This is a little bit of an accordion here at the front of the field. Looking back down the field a little bit, let's see here. Daniel Falkingham in the third spot in that number 39 car. Inside the top 5. He's been up there a little bit tonight. He's cycled back a little bit, and he's done the accordion for us. Justin Fuller running 5th. Jose Gonzalez 6th. Mitch Rollo running 7th. Chad Cole in the 8th spot right now in that number 82 machine. Nick Silver keeping that Motorcraft Mustang inside the top 10. Nick Silver running in the 9th spot right now, but he is battling with Kevin DeBrown in the NOS car. DeBrown on the outside, Silver on the bottom. Looks like Silver's going to maintain that 9th place spot over Kevin DeBrown in 10th right now. But we'll see what happens as this race goes on. And as I'm talking about Nick and DeBrown, as I'm talking about Silver and DeBrown, Jose Gonzalez looks to have slowed a little bit from his form earlier in the night, and that Pepsi car falling back a little bit. Looks like Nick Silver's about to take over the 8th spot, and we'll see Jose Gonzalez fall back to 9th here directly, I believe. Normally when I start talking about drivers, though, and what they're doing on track, they end up switching it up and doing the exact opposite of what I say. Oh my God, they're not going to make me a liar. It's actually going to happen. Nick Silver up to 8th. Jose Gonzalez back to 9th. Now it's the Jose Gonzalez, Kevin DeBrown war. We've got Pepsi versus NOS. A lot of caffeine there in 9th and 10th right now. A lot of caffeine. And Nick Silver, as soon as Nick cleared Jose, he just walked away. Nick just starting to run back up towards Chad Cole in 7th. Going to go back up to the front of the field here for a second. Take a look at what DeBarro's doing. Give you a front of the pack update. DeBarro is, it's just DeBarro being DeBarro. You know what I'm saying? Just DeBarro being DeBarro. Up front, running away. 0.5 seconds ahead of Trey Edson right now. Trey Edson still in that 2nd place spot. Daniel Falkingham follows Edson in 3rd place. David Comstock running 4th. Justin Fuller 5th. Mitch Rollo 6th. Chad Cole 7th. Nick Silver running 8th after that good battle with Jose Gonzalez. Got past Jose, ran away. Kevin DeBrown running 10th. I'm going to go ahead and give you the next 10. Nick Cohen running 11th. Nigel Standish, after trying to, trying to run too long on a set of tires, Nigel stayed out under one of the caution periods. Was at the front of the field when the green flag flew, but he fell quickly back, and Standish is now, let's see here, Nigel back in 12th spot in that 09 Toyota. Sean Casto right behind him in the 52, running 13th. Nelson Rivera running 14th. Chad Coleman 15th. Shane Ewing 16th. Steve Ritter running 17th. Let's see here. I'm going to go back to Steve Ritter. We're under caution again. Not sure what happened there. I am going to scroll back through the field and see if I can't find someone sideways. Everything just went crazy on my screen there for a second as iRacing had a little bit of a hiccup. And now we're catching back up to what's going on here. I'm looking for someone just sitting still, but I'll be darned if I can find him. Had a little iRacing caution hiccup there, but back up front, Anthony DeBarro still running in that top spot, followed by Trey Edson running 2nd. It has been the DeBarro-Edson parade tonight. There have been a lot of people that have gotten close, that have gotten up to 3rd, but really no one else cracking that top 2. I think we saw Jose Gonzalez up in 2nd place for maybe half a lap a little bit ago. There might have been 1 or 2 other cars that got inside the top 2, but for the most part, this has been the DeBarro-Edson parade. They have been dominant tonight, and with DeBarro dominating the restarts for sure. Everybody bringing it down pit road again. Pit road is incredibly busy. I don't know, with 111 laps of 150 in the books, I'm not sure if this gets these guys to the end or not, but DeBarro looks to have won the race off of pit road. Right behind him though, Daniel Falkingham looks like he got out second. So we've got DeBarro, Falkingham, Comstock up to third, made up some spots in the pits. Trey Edson falls back to fourth. Mitch Rollo running in fifth right now. Mitch, I believe, picked up a spot or two in the pits. Justin Fuller picked up a spot or two in the pits as well. He's being scored in seventh right now. Nick Silver, actually Justin Fuller being scored in sixth. Nick Silver picked up a spot in the pits, running seventh. Chad Cole eighth. Jose Gonzalez ninth. And Nick Cohen rounding out your top 10. We are under caution here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. This is the Sim500 Esports Racing League, the Transervice Cup Series, our Monday night racing series here at the Sim500, and you are watching the Sim Racing Network. Lights are out on top of the pace car. DeBarro down low, takes that low line. Falkingham on the outside. Comstock lined up in third. Trey Edson in an unfamiliar position tonight. Trey Edson in that 40 Transervice machine lined up in the fourth place spot on the outside line. Next is Mitch Rollo running fifth in the 96 machine. Outside of him, Justin Fuller. We are back to green, and Anthony DeBarro does it again. Shotgun style start from the 27 Coors Light machine. Green flag goes, and DeBarro just drops the hammer and runs away. It seems like DeBarro is 2.5 to 3/10 out as soon as the green flag flies every single restart. DeBarro running middle of the track, basically, not running low, not running high, trying to take care of those tires that he just put on that Coors Light machine. Behind him, though, Daniel Falkingham and David Comstock going at it. Let's get back to that battle. We've got 5 or 6 cars there that are, actually, we've got more than 5 or 6. We have about, 30 cars that are going at, the 16 cars around. Let's see if I can get back to that. Chad Coleman, get back to that 16 car here. Caution is back out on the speedway. I'm going to go back to an instant replay on Chad Coleman and see if we can't source what happened there. Coleman, where you at? There you are, buddy. Chad Coleman. Trying to give you a view of how this caution came out here. Could have swore I saw Chad sideways. Could be wrong. I've been wrong at least 2 or 3 times in my life. But we are under yellow again at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. I thought it was the 20 car that brought it out. But, that could be what I get for thinking. Oh, it looks like the 93 car of Kevin DeBrown got sideways. That didn't really bring out a caution, though. He got sideways, caused Coleman to check up. caution is out, but I missed who it was. Well, dang it. I did my best, y'all. I did my best. If you want to fire the commentator and the producer, just fire me. All right, we're going to go back live. I don't want to miss any live action here. We're going to go back live. I'm going to take you back out front. DeBarro, Falkingham, Comstock, that's your top three. Right outside the top three, Trey Edson being scored in fourth right now. Mitch Rollo scored in fifth. Justin Fuller running sixth. Nick Silver in seventh. Chad Cole running eighth. Nick Cohen running ninth. And rounding out your top 10 is Nigel Standish. This is the Transervice Cup Series in the Sim500 Esports Racing League, brought to you by the Sim Racing Network. Thank you so much for tuning in. While this yellows out, I'm going to take a little bit of time and go grab a little bit of water so I can keep talking. Hopefully I'm not talking too much and annoying everybody. I'm trying to be as informative as I possibly can. But there's honestly the big story tonight. Anthony DeBarro out front in that Coors Light number 27, putting on a show for you guys. Just basically running a flawless race up to this point. We're working lap 118 of 150 here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We will be back green in a lap or two. Lights are out on top of the pace car. We are back at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Anthony DeBarro leading the way on that low line. Outside row one, Daniel Falkingham in the 39 machine. Falkingham has worked his way up front and now sitting second. David Comstock running third. Outside of that second row, we have Trey Edson. Trey Edson running in that second spot for most of the evening, but the last two restarts, we've seen Edson lined up fourth. And again, DeBarro showing that restart form. DeBarro off like a shot at the front of the field. DeBarro pulls out that 0.3 second gap almost immediately over second and third place. Behind him, though, you see people going 2 wide, 3 wide. Everybody is all over the place. Justin Fuller looked like he was looking low, trying to look around Trey Edson there for a second, but Fuller just thought the better of it, pulled back. He's about a car length behind Fuller right now, running fifth. Right behind Fuller is Mitch Rollo running sixth. Out front, though, Anthony DeBarro just killing it. There's no other way to put it. Oh, we got a big one towards the back of the field. Let's see here if we can find that. Who in the world was that? It's just so many cars involved. I'm going to go back, see whether I can get that on replay for you guys. That was a lot going on, y'all. iRacing is doing its typical reset thing for me right now, which is not what I want. Big wreck. Lots of cars messed up in this one. Let's see here. Who do we have there? Is that Nigel? I think Nigel Standish was involved in that. Looked like Standish was a bit deranged. Yep. Front end of that Toyota is all messed up, looking a little bit like a modified right now. No bumper. And there are a lot of cars out there right now with no bumper and wrinkled front ends. Standish was part of that. Let's see here. Steve Ritter may have been part of that. Mike Montesi. Montesi part of it. Let's see. Cycling through as best we can. Montesi, the number 9 car. I'm sorry, Bobby Wetzel, the number 9 car. He's on pit road right now with that black and yellow Pennzoil machine. He is more than likely a little bit hurt. Steve Ritter, I believe, was part of that as well. Steve's car well and truly hurt in the front end, and I believe the rear end is no better off than the front of that 16 machine. Ritter's is definitely a bit hurt right now. Mike Grandy missing the front end on the 92 car. Making us think about interstate batteries, but at least, I mean, the battery is still working. The car's still running, so, interstate can be proud of something, I guess. It's that car is hurt there. Mike Grandy's front end is done, and the rear bumper is caved. The 34 car right in front of him of Sean Boundy. Sean's car pretty torn up as well. A lot of damage out here tonight. Dwayne Vincent in the Tabasco machine. That car is looking like it's gone to war basically tonight here at New Hampshire. Jonathan Lockhart, though, in the number 6 machine, Jonathan Lockhart, got some rear bumper damage, but the rest of that car not looking too terribly bad. The number 7 machine, I believe, is got the front end torn off of it. It's been an interesting evening here at New Hampshire. We're just about to be working the last 25 laps of this event. We're under yellow here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You're watching the Sim500 Esports Racing League. The Transervice Cup, obviously brought to you by Transervice on Monday nights here with Sim500. We've got a bunch of folks leaving pit road right now as trying to beat that pace car off pit lane. And it looks like all of those 3 cars that just left pit lane are going to get that job done. DeBarro, though, running out front. DeBarro's car looking really, really clean. I think there's a little bit of rear bumper damage, but that's just nose-to-tail racing between him and Edson from earlier this evening. Now he's got Falkingham and Comstock to deal with up at the front of the field. DeBarro running first. Falkingham scored second. He'll be on the outside row on this restart. Falkingham in second. David Comstock again third. Trey Edson lined up fourth. That's the way it's been for the last 3 restarts here at New Hampshire. We're going to go green here on this lap. Lights are off on top of the pace car. Edson ready to go. Looks like he is trying to keep a little heat in those tires. He's already trying to get to the throttle. DeBarro not ready for it, though. DeBarro says, we're going to go when I'm ready to go. And he got that jump again. Nowhere near the jump that we've seen out of DeBarro, though, earlier in the evening. Comstock got a pretty good jump on him there from third place. But Comstock and Falkingham are going to fall into that. We're side by side. We got to fight it out. That's going to let DeBarro take off and pull that 0.3 to 0.4 second gap that we've seen him pull on, I would say, darn near every restart tonight. We have seen DeBarro do exactly what he's doing right now. He is, if he's at the front of the field and he's commanding that restart, he is getting the jump of all jumps. Really impressive to watch what he's doing when the green flag flies. Falkingham slots in second. Comstock running third. Trey Edson still being scored in fourth on the outside of Comstock right now. Actually, Edson goes by Comstock. Looks like Edson's getting ready to go by Falkingham. Edson on it. Well, nope. And we're back under caution. We're back under caution. I'm paying attention to the front of the field. And this is what happens when we only have one announcer, unfortunately. I'm paying attention to the front of the field. Stuff's happening behind them, and I just flat out don't see it, and I apologize. I really do. I wish I could see everything happen. I wish I had 23 cameras in front of me and I could pick it up immediately. But unfortunately, I only have 2 eyes. I know, it's crazy. I only have 2 eyes. We got a whole 2 laps of green flag action on that restart. DeBarro still being scored up front. Falkingham second. Trey Edson moves up to third. Comstock pushed back to fourth. Justin Fuller being scored in fifth. Mitch Rollo sixth. Chad Cole in seventh. I don't see where we're going to see anyone come into the pits right now, but, you know, by the time we go back to green, we'll be less than 20 to go. They've fueled up, taken tires. They can go to the end from here. I don't see where it would make any sense for anyone to come in right now, but as I say that, they do everything in their power, like I said earlier, to make me look like I don't know what I'm talking about, which, you know, let's be honest. Do I really know what I'm talking? Yes, I do. Kind of know what I'm talking about. We'll give you a quick top 10 rundown here as we watch a couple cars run by Doug in that pace car to get a lap back. The top 10 as it stands right now, working lap 129 of 150 here at New Hampshire. With the Sim500 Esports Racing League, we've got Anthony DeBarro in the 27 machine out front. Still, we've said Anthony DeBarro out front so many times tonight. You're probably tired of hearing it, but, you know, it is what it is. That's where he's at. Anthony DeBarro running first. Daniel Falkingham second. Trey Edson third. David Comstock running fourth. Justin Fuller in that 51 machine running in the fifth spot. Mitch Rollo of the Sim Racing Network. We got Mitch on the mic all the time here for you guys in that 96 car. Mitch is running sixth here tonight at New Hampshire. Chad Cole running seventh in the 82 machine. Nick Silver running eighth. Kevin DeBrown in ninth. And rounding out your top 10 here with 20 laps to go is Nelson Rivera in the 10th spot. Just take you back through the field a little bit, try to find out who's dealing with what out there. Sean Casto in that bright yellow machine. Can't miss Sean when he's on track here at Sim500. That bright yellow stands out. Makes a night race look like daytime. Right now, Sean is running around with a really hurt race car in 13th. Front end gone on that car. But if he sucks up behind Chad Coleman, who's right in front of him, might be able to hang on to that bumper for a little bit. Chad Coleman actually looking like he has a pretty clean car, so he's punching a really, really nice hole in the air there for those cars that are behind him that are a little torn up. Tommy Ryan, let's see here, Tommy Ryan in the 99 car. A little bit of fender damage on Tommy's car tonight. Doug Roth in the 43. That STP car is wrinkled, but still looking good. You just can't go wrong with Petty Blue. Cannot go wrong with Petty Blue. Doy Woods in the 07 outside of Castor right now. Doy in that 07 Camry running Fanatic on the hood. Little hurt, not too terribly bad. Doy's car looking good, running 15th right now. Doug Roth, let's see here, back to Doug Roth. We already talked about Doug. Jonathan Lockhart in the number 6. Oh, we're back to green. I'm going to go up front. We're back to green. DeBarro doing what DeBarro does. Holds on to that lead on the restart. This time, though, Falkingham sucks right up to that bumper, right up to the rear bumper of DeBarro. Doesn't let him get away as quickly as he's gotten away before, but as soon as I say that, there it is, 0.2 seconds. DeBarro on restarts is magic at New Hampshire. So right now, we have DeBarro, Falkingham, Trey Edson running third, David Comstock running fourth, Mitch Rollo fifth, Nick Silver sixth, Chad Cole seventh, Nelson Rivera jumps up to eighth, Kevin DeBrown in ninth, and Chad Coleman rounding out your top 10. Chad Coleman right now and Kevin DeBrown, those guys are going after it for ninth. Let's see here. Eighth place, Nelson Rivera in the Verizon car. That car looks good no matter where it's at. Love those colors together. Nelson's got a beautiful race car. All right, 17 laps to go here at New Hampshire, the Sim500 Esports Racing League, brought to you by Transervice. You're watching the Transervice Cup race, brought to you by the Sim Racing Network. Anthony DeBarro out front, right behind him, David Falkingham getting a little loose there. Looks like Edson got up under that rear wing and got Falkingham just a little bit loose, but Falkingham gathered it up, held it nicely, doesn't even lose a spot. He lost a lot of momentum there, but gathered it up really quick and maintained second place right now over Trey Edson. The top 6 right now, nose to tail. Let's see here. Go back to Nick Silver running 6th. Let's go on board with Nick real quick. See what it looks like from the 6th place spot. Inside that Nick Silver Mustang. Taking a look at Mitch Rollo's rear bumper. Trying to figure out how to get by that. It's Ford on Ford here. Trying to figure out how to get by that other Mustang that's in front of him. Silver working that low line. Silver looks to be a little lower in the corners than anyone else out here tonight. Not a whole lot of bank in the corners here at New Hampshire. This place chews up tires too. And with these cars being loose as they are out of the gate, the last thing you want is tires getting chewed up in a hurry. 14 laps to go. 14 laps to go here out of 150. DeBarro still out front. Falkingham second. Trey Edson third. David Comstock fourth. Mitch Rollo being scored fifth. And right behind him, we're on board with the number 15 car of Nick Silver. Always cool to hop on board with these guys and just watch their hands. Some of these guys saw at it and they're up on the wheel all night long. Some of these guys are incredibly smooth and somehow completely different driving styles, but they make it work, you know. Silver a little loose coming off turn 4 there. Gathered it up though. And I believe that was that Comstock. I think that was Comstock up in the wall there. Let's go on board with Comstock real quick. See if he's fighting a really loose car. We're about to be 10 to go here at New Hampshire. We are almost at 10 to go. We're 11 laps to go right now. On board with David Comstock running 4th. You can see that gap from Comstock up to the front of the field, 1.3 seconds. It's only 1.3 seconds, but it might as well be an entire year's worth of time right now. Comstock looking at those top 3 cars march away right now. Let's go back to a regular TV camera view. We're going to go back to the front of the field. We're inside 10 to go. DeBarro still leading this event here. 150 laps tonight here at New Hampshire, 10 to go. DeBarro out front in the 27 Coors Light machine. Right behind him, Trey Edson and Daniel Falkingham side by side going after it. That's the battle to watch right now. Those guys are not doing themselves any favors as far as being able to run DeBarro down. Anytime you get side by side like that, we all know you're racing when you're side by side. You're not paying attention to hitting your marks and running your optimum lap, and that just means the guy out front can do that that's not having to deal with that battle. And typically that means that the car out front is just going to pull away. 8 laps to go. We're watching the second place battle. Daniel Falkingham and Trey Edson trying to get things done here at New Hampshire, trying to get that podium finish. They want to finish as high up on that leaderboard as they possibly can. DeBarro trying to take care of his tires and maintain that half-second gap back to Falkingham. All right, we're going to drop back here to Comstock. Comstock, I believe, is the car that brushed the wall a lap or two ago. Don't think it really hurt him all that much. but didn't do him any favors either. Didn't really hurt the car, didn't hurt his pace, but it did drop him back. He lost a little momentum there. Right behind Comstock, Mitch Rollo, inside the top 5. He is running 5th place in the 96 machine, and he is all over the bumper of David Comstock right now. This is a good run for Mitch Rollo tonight. Right behind Rollo, Nick Silver in the number 15 Mustang. Nick Silver running 6th, Chad Cole running 7th, Nelson Rivera running 8th, Kevin DeBrown 9th, and Shane Ewing being scored in 10th spot in that number 32 Rayovac car. Go ahead on with your bad shelf, Shane, in your Camry. Shane and Chad Coleman going at it right now, and it looks like the number 99 of Tommy Ryan wants a piece of that battle as well. We're 6 laps to go, and since I am the guy that's doing all the talking and working the cameras, I'm going back up front with Anthony DeBarro. I want to make sure that Anthony brings this thing home, and I want to make sure you see him do it. So we're back up front with DeBarro. DeBarro pulls out about a 0.7 second gap over Falkingham, who's running 2nd right now. Trey Edson running 3rd, Comstock 4th, Rollo 5th. Those positions have not changed much over the last couple restarts. Those cars have been basically shuffling around inside the top 5, and the only car that's really stayed where it's been, I'd say, all night long is DeBarro. He's started 4th, came up to the lead and said, I got this. 4 laps to go. I'm going to stop talking about him because I don't want him to blame anything that might happen on me. If I keep talking nice about him, it's almost inevitable that something bad's going to happen, so I'll stop that. DeBarro putting on a clinic. 3 laps to go. Here at New Hampshire. You're watching the Sim500 Esports Racing League, the Transervice Cup Series, our Monday night series here at Sim500. And you're watching it on the Sim Racing Network. You can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, and the Face page and Facebook on our triple threat of broadcasting. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, all at the Sim Racing Network. 2 laps to go. I'm going to shut up about us and talk about what's going on the racetrack. Oh my God, Jose Gonzalez running so well earlier tonight. DeBarro putting Jose a lap down in that retro Pepsi machine. That's painful. That hurts my heart a little bit to see that. Jose was running so well earlier tonight. 2 laps to go. DeBarro putting on a clinic out front. Right behind him, Falkingham and Edson, nose to tail. And then David Comstock's fallen back a couple seconds behind Trey Edson. Right now, on the final lap, DeBarro just taking care of business, y'all. Just absolutely taking care of business. A full second out in front of Falkingham right now is DeBarro. As domination goes, you've seen it tonight. And that's it. DeBarro takes it. Falkingham coming up, giving him a little tap for congratulations. If anyone's deserved to win a race here this evening, it's definitely Anthony DeBarro. That is one heck of a run. Let me hide the field, and I'm going to put it on the driver now. Just showcase DeBarro a little bit in that 27 Coors Light machine. One heck of a run from Anthony DeBarro here at New Hampshire tonight. I'm going to give you a rundown on the field. We'll take a quick break, and then we will bring the top 3 up into the booth for some post-race interviews. But right now, I'm just going to stay live on Anthony DeBarro as he burns him down on the front stretch for you guys. Anthony DeBarro brings it home in first. Daniel Falkingham second. Trey Edson brings it home in third after being in second place for so much of the race tonight. David Comstock fourth. Nick Silver in fifth. Mitch Rollo brings it home in sixth place. Great run from Mitch. Chad Cole, seventh place. Nelson Rivera in eighth. Kevin DeBrown in ninth. And Chad Coleman rounds out your top 10 here at New Hampshire this evening. I'm going to get a little bit of help from Joey Jatina, who tried to join me in the booth earlier, but we were having a little bit of audio problems, and that's why you've You've heard nothing but me tonight. You're probably tired of me by now, but I'm going to go ahead and do the interviews. Unless Joey, they can hear you now, brother. Joey, if you want to step in and help out with the interviews, you are more than welcome to, sir.
I'm going to drag them to you, brother. Just let me know who you're ready for.
I am 100% ready for Trey Edson. If you grab Trey Edson, we will start these things. Trey Edson, welcome to the booth, sir. Heck of a race tonight, man. Heck of a race. Congratulations on that third place finish. I'm going to go ahead and get your name up here. I'm going to change a couple things on the screen before we start this interview. I'm going to kill that. I'm going to kill that. I'm going to get the podium up, and then I'm going to hit Trey Edson, and it's going to show that you finished third. Congratulations on your third place finish. But I do have to ask you, how in the world did you end up third after running second for pretty much the entire event? That looked it was crazy watching you and DeBarro on the restarts. You guys were just gone. Congratulations on the race, but what was it like tonight?
Died on that last stop. Yeah, the pit crew just let me down.
The pit crew let you down.
The pit crew let me down because I felt like I could run second at least, and I was kind of figuring it out where I was quicker than DeBarro. I only had like 2 or 3 laps of practice, so I had to kind of figure it out as we went.
That actually sounds very much like race car driver excuses, sir. Was the sun in your eyes? Were you driving uphill? Were you barefoot? And the last question I'm going to ask is, were you naked?
Was not naked. I was close, but not fully.
That's perfect. That's exactly what we want to know. Anything unusual happened to you out there tonight? Anything crazy? What was the secret to running up front here at New Hampshire tonight for you?
It was just a smooth night. I didn't really have any secrets or nothing crazy go down. Just the pit crew really dying on me. That's a little frustrating because once we got 15 or 20 laps going, I don't even know if we ran that many. I might be lying. 10 or 15. I know we did that many. I would kind of start catching DeBarro, but passing here's so rough. I knew that getting the pole was going to be cool with the big advantage with that first stall, and it ended up actually killing me for some reason. But I'll take a third. It's been an up and down roller coaster lately with my cup stuff, so I'll take a third.
Nothing wrong with a third, man. That's still a great run. Nicely done. Bringing it home in third place tonight. Trey Edson in the number 40 car. If you have anyone you'd like to thank for your third place tonight, now's the time.
Yeah, just got to thank Transervice and you guys for broadcasting this, and Joey for keeping the league together. I know he's got his ups and downs and his frustrations, but he keeps this thing headed in the right direction. So it's fun to be a part of.
It is fun to be a part of. It's great being in the booth and watching you guys race and getting to talk about it. You guys always put on a heck of a show. Trey Edson bringing that number 40 car home in third place tonight. Transervice all over it. So nicely done, Trey. We're going to go ahead and switch gears to Daniel Falkingham. Daniel Falkingham is up here with us now. And I need to change over to Daniel Falkingham on our little ticker there, just so people know, who you are. The number 39 car, everybody knows who you are. Everybody knows who Daniel Falkingham is. You got lobsters on your car, man. Congratulations on bringing it home second tonight, man. How did you run from where you were to where you got? You weren't inside the top 10 all night long, and then over on about the last 2 or 3 restarts, there you were. So how'd you get up there?
I honestly have no idea, but yeah, I really wasn't back there. But that's what happens when you hit the turn 4 wall, coming to finish your lap on your qualifying lap. So that wasn't fun. But me and Adam were actually making pretty good progress. So I was just going where everyone else wasn't. Like just the middle line was open, like not quite the apron, but the bottom per se, you could say. And everyone's just like running like the very top, like the normal iRacing line. But with this package, I feel like with the extra downforce, I think it's a lot easier to pass in the middle because you just have a lot more grip and you're able to put the throttle down or put the power down. But that was very hard to do at the start of the race with it being so hot and slick, which was really fun to do for a change. But yeah, but once it was just staying out of dirty air and just being in clean air, and I was able to like cruise by a few people, and I managed to get up to the top 15, and then it got a little bit harder because we got to the faster cars and stuff like DeBarro, Trey, and pretty much the rest of the top 10, and yeah, and then we just got lucky breaks on restarts. And Fuller, he had a little moment on a restart, and plus we stayed out. We pretty much stayed out of trouble on restarts when there was a lot of checking up too, or a lot of people just hitting off of each other, like doing a lot of excuse my words here, but yeah, it was overall fun race, but I really wish you could have got the win. I mean, man, with all the lobsters in my car, that would have been fun to park that thing in Victory Lane, especially at my home track.
Yeah, man, you were rolling. I mean, starting 30th, coming all the way up to second. Heck of a run tonight, Daniel. A lot of fun to watch you dice through the field, and like you said, you kind of took my thunder away. My second question was going to be: was there anything? Was it was it restarts? Was it pit strategy? How did you make the big leaps that you made that got you up front? So it sounds like it was a lot of restarts, like people maybe spinning the tires on the restart, and you got a good jump on them, or what was that? How did you shuffle through?
That was mainly just people trying to time it, and a lot of people just not having a good reaction time, but which was me when I was on the front row next to DeBarro on the restarts. So that was kind of hard to deal with, but I mean, I got better, but not really. But I mean, I was okay to time really well, and I was able to just hang around the outside, manage to get the drive off, and I was pretty unfortunate at the end there because I was running down Anthony towards with 10, 15 to go, but I was just pushing too hard. My right rear eventually fell off, and I should have just let Trey try to go after him, but I just want to try to keep second place. I mean, feel like I earned it, but I feel like I got lucky. But I mean, I'm gonna race for every spot, but yeah, well, it was my bad there. Should have just let Trey try to go challenge him, but yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but hey, we'll take second. After coming from 30th, I'll definitely take it at one of my favorite tracks, plus being my home track as well.
Yeah, man, all good, all good. Anytime you run from 30th up inside the top five, you've had a heck of an evening. You deserve to go rest and have an adult beverage of your choice if you so choose. Now's the time, man. Thank whoever you need to thank for this second place finish tonight. Heck of a job by Daniel Falkingham here at New Hampshire.
Yes, thank you. Got to thank First Rate Bay Lobster 207 for being on the car as always, for the sponsorship. Always got to thank Cameron Colby for painting this amazing car. And go check out Colby's Eye Paints on Facebook if you need custom paint. Really, Colby does really good paints at pretty low prices. So go check him out, Colby's Eye Paints on Facebook. Also go check out go check out Sim500 as well. There's a great league you run in. Thanks to Joey and the guys for putting on the show. Always fun to come and run down in the Cup Series on Monday nights and Sunday nights with the Xfinity stuff. And also got to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast as always. Thank you to Transervice for all they do for this series, for all their support they give for this series, for allowing us to race. And also thanks to everyone who watched the race tonight.
There you have it, Daniel Falkingham driving that number 39 car all the way from 30th spot up to second place finish. We are about to be joined in the booth by Anthony DeBarro. I am switching things over just to show you and give him his due. Starting fourth place on the grid tonight, led 112 of 150 laps. I would call that domination. Welcome, welcome into the booth, Anthony. Congratulations on your win tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. You dominated, man. Heck of a run. Heck of a run. What was your secret to the restarts? All night long, I was basically trying to figure out what you were doing. There was a restart. Immediately, you were 0.3 ahead of everyone. In 2 laps, you were 0.7 to a full second ahead of everyone. How were you so good when the green flag dropped all night long?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you for congratulations for the win, but I want to say it's nice to have a race where I don't run anyone over for once. I mean, I know there's been a lot of crap going on recently, but it feels good to be able to race door to door at a tight track like this and pull home the win. But basically, I thought I had a better car in the long run, as we saw on that last 10 to go. It was maybe the longest. We got a 15-lap run, I think, there once. But I think if we would have had a 20, 30-lap run, I could have had a bigger gap. But I think it doesn't. You wouldn't think New Hampshire has a play with aero, but I noticed when Falcane was behind me, and he would run the bottom behind me when he was that 4/10 half second behind me. It took his air away and just destroyed his run. So, believe it or not, track position mattered a lot here. I mean, everyone's so close, tough to pass, and I mean, I think if you took any of the top 5 or top 10 even and put them out front, I think it would have been pretty much the same result there.
Yeah, it was a heck of a run, and we had the camera trained on you. I mean, like I said, you led 112 of 150 tonight. We had the camera up front on you for every single restart, and it was just amazing to watch you take off, and it would have been nice to see a really long run. I was actually talking about a couple times how much I wanted to see some green flag pit stops just to see it shuffle things up a little bit and see where everything shook out. But we didn't get that. You stayed out front, and you showed a dominant performance here this evening. Um, what about the car? Like, just give us a little bit of insight into the car and the new package, the a little more aero on the car. Is it loose even with more aero? Because I keep hearing people say these cars have more aero now, but they're really twitchy. Is that the case, or are you not feeling that?
It was there. It was more of a you could get it loose, get coming in because you're we're kind of trying to push the limits of the rear brake setting. So if you overdrive it a little bit and it gets on the right rear, you're gonna get loose. But basically, I would brake. I think I was lifting a lot earlier than a lot of other guys. From my lifting my mirror, I would get on the brakes and then carry speed into the third mark. And then once I got to the center, I kind of would really apply it more there, and then the nose would just take off just about every time for me. It just gets super tight, and then what happens is you crank more wheel in it, and that's where I think the loose is coming in. But basically, I knew it was tight, and I didn't wait for it. I would just kind of throttle up a little split second just to get it on the right rear to get the car to pivot. Maybe even use the seams to de-wedge it a little, and then get it pointed straight off, and then just feather your throttle until you feel you can get 100%. That's really, I mean, I would change my line high or low, but you're kind of doing the same thing. I mean, high you kind of don't. If you're running lower, you're gonna roll into the center real hard because you're gonna try to make up that time. But I noticed the lower lane was more dominant than it's ever been in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years here.
Yeah, this is a really big track to be talking about this, but watching you, it almost looked like you were like you said, you're running really deep down into the middle of the corner, and you were almost diamonding the corner off in the middle of it. It was pretty cool to watch what you were doing out there and the way you were working it. But obviously, you had it figured out, man. Heck of a race tonight. Heck of a race. Started fourth, ended up at the top of the heap, finishing first tonight. Anthony DeBarro in the number 27 car. You made Coors Light proud. I know you've got some folks you want to thank for this first place. So now's the time. Go ahead and thank away.
Yeah, all the guys at Dizzy, Brendan Kohler up at the booth for us. I mean, he's crew chief for all four cars, and that's been a big help. You know, just something I have had to think about. You know, I mean, we talk about stuff, but he makes the majority of the decisions. Nick and Shane and Tim. I was unfortunate for his luck early in the race, but it just feels good to finally get one because I think this team has just been so close and just things haven't gone our way. I've done a lot of dumb stuff to take races away from myself, and it's just when I happened and it happened, it was no doubt about it, and I couldn't be happy right now.
That's racing, man. It's you run up front as much as you run up front. Eventually, you're going to get one. Heck of a run tonight. Dominating performance. That's Anthony DeBarro in the number 27 Coors Light machine. Starting fourth, bringing it home in first. This has been 150 laps at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. You're watching the Sim500 Esports Racing League, brought to you by the Sim Racing Network. I'm Sean Yoder. I would like to thank our producer, Sean Yoder, for bringing you the cameras tonight and basically wearing my voice out all night long. I hope you guys aren't sick of hearing me because I love, love, love broadcasting with these series. Sim500, great group of folks. Awesome action on track, always giving us a lot to talk about. We thank you so much for following along with the Sim500 e-racing league and following along with us at the Sim Racing Network. Really, really, really good time here tonight at New Hampshire. I am going to shut down the Anthony DeBarra graphic and just for the last time show you guys who brings you this series. This is the Transervice Cup, brought to you by Transervice every Monday night. We are bringing you the best in sim racing here at the Sim500 Esports Racing League. Again, for everyone at the Sim Racing Network, I'm Sean Yoder. Thanks so much for watching tonight. This is it from New Hampshire. We'll see you again next week. Everybody have a great, great rest of the week.